We're back! Streaming cyberspace into your place, sanctioned by the Red Light Racing League from Phoenix International Raceway. It's the Virtual Grip Network's live as it happens coverage of the Skitter Creek SK Modified Series 14, opening round tonight. You know, in 1919 at the Saratoga Racecourse, for the only time in his career, the until then seemingly invincible Man of War was bested by a horse named Upset, coining the phrase. From the Sheriff of Nottingham to Apollo Creed, literature and film alike are chock full of the seemingly invincible. You know, the Old Testament has Goliath. And not to be left out of the conversation is the Skitter Creek SK Modified Series. For stamping last season with an iron fist was Eric Stout. With 9 season wins, the man they call Teapot crushed the competition in a Darth Vardinian fashion. His second championship earned by a final point lead of, get this, over triple digits. But for every Vader, there's a Skywalker, and when it comes to finding that Upset, that Robin Hood, that Rocky Balboa, the grid will have plenty of potential drivers. Bradley Steffen, Fred Leclerc, TJ Henson, Brian Bianchi, and Brandon Feeney all managed to find victory lane last season. There are 2 more names to watch who both bested Teacup in the previous campaign. One is the only active driver with a crown, that is Jeff Aho. And the other is a driver, no red lighter. Well, nobody has bested that guy in a modified here at Phoenix. And of course, that's Stout's very own teammate, AJ Hamill. Saratoga, Sherwood Forward, the Spectrum in Philly, a galaxy far, far away, all locations where the upset happened. In the Valley of Elah, the weapon of choice was the Rock and Slingshot. In the Valley of the Sun, it's the Tour Modified. So pull the lever on the Lazy Boy and settle in for some simulated short track racing action about to stream your way. Below the summit of Rattlesnake Hill, we offer you a warm hello and welcome on this Thursday night, May 20th, 2025. My usual booth mate, J.R. Shepard, has reached, amazingly enough, the semifinals in the Southwest Regional Crochet and Knitting Competition. So tonight, it is Hard in the Wall, Ricky Harden joining yours truly, Bill Soups on high up in the press box to bring you our Words Eye View replay right center. Turn the knobs and push the sliders. All right, Ricky. I'm not sure when it comes to choosing a track to start the season. Phoenix would be my first choice. There's a lot of room to race, but a little small place that you got to funnel back in.
No doubt about it. Thank you, Soup. It's good to be back. Man, I hope you folks at home are buckled in, because if last season was any indication, we're in for a wild ride. You just heard Bill talk about Eric Stout. He dominated the competition. He's the guy with the target on his back. And this field's hungry. And Phoenix Raceway is unlike anything else that these drivers will face this season. By Red Light Racing standards, this 1 mile long track is a behemoth. It's the season opener, and we're throwing the drivers into 90 laps of strategic chaos. We're starting out in the more powerful Tour type modified, and that's quite a bit quicker than the SK modified. We run a lot of the season here. It can be light on its feet. It requires the drivers to take care of the tires. And the next variable is that dog leg on the front straightaway. It's not just a feature, it's a weapon. Drivers can cut down low and shorten the track, but they got to be surgical when they merge coming out of it. It's a recipe for wheel-to-wheel contact in these things if you're not careful. Turns 1 and 2, they're tricky. They're relatively flat. The line choices are wide open. You can see guys flirting with the apron, trying to diamond the corner, or running up near the top of the track searching for grip. But turns 3 and 4, that's where the magic happens. The higher banking, it sucks you in, and you gotta be right there down at the bottom of the track to really find the fastest pace. But if you can hang on the outside of somebody, you might be able to pinch them coming off the corner and build some momentum all the way down the front straightaway. So, Soup, you got multiple grooves, a dicey dog leg, and 90 laps to figure out who's got the muscle and mindset to make a statement.
Can't wait to get going. And, of course, it is the SK Modified Series, but 4 times this season they break out the big brother, and they're going to be racing the Tour Modifieds. And that's good they're doing it here tonight as the track is really big. As this being the first race of the season, no reason to check the points, so get right down to business and we'll go to the grid. And as always, this race grid is brought to you by racedaycd.com. You know what? When I am in New England and I want some information about short track racing, I turn on the TV, I get nothing. I turn on the radio, I get nothing. Check the newspapers, can't find one. Where do I go? I go to racedaycd.com. That's the best place to go for short track news in New England. Get yourself some clam chowder and a little bit of racedaycd.com on the monitor there, and you're set. Talking about being set, Ricky and I both want to get our VGN commentators bonus for getting through the entire field before they go green. So let's give them to you right now. Qualifying is over. It's a newcomer on the pole. It is Ethan Troutman. He's going to be inside of Chad Alcaraz.
And there's the Dark Lord Eric Stout starting in P3 with Brian Bianchi to his outside in fourth.
Lewis Wildflowers will be going in the fifth position, flanked by TJ Henson.
Bradley Steffen going to roll off in the seventh position with Alan Wanamaker in eighth.
They call him Granny Hits, but he can really get around here. It's Joshua Buckley. He's flanked by Bill Benedict.
Jeff Aho going to have a little bit of work to do, coming back in the 11th position with Fred Leclerc to his outside in 12th.
Hidden in the Baker's Dozen spot, it is Kevin Alicia with Rob Higgins outside of him.
Rex Hoyle going to roll off 15th position with Devin Visna in 16th.
In 17th is Chris. May I have some more, Sir Oliver, with Aiden Aldine Vecchion in 18th.
Ooh, that one's a doozy. P19, Dwayne Hopkins going to roll off on the inside of that road in the old buckshot car. And Chris Hazlip rolling off in the 20th position.
My pronunciation is a lot better when I get a whole season of practice. Then in the hidden blackjack is the double deuce, Bruce Pearson. And then the 63 of Glenn Jameson outside of him.
Brandon Feeney rounding out the field as we come to take the green flag here in Phoenix.
We're surprisingly missing some big names here today. I'm a little interested about this. I didn't hear Eric Teapot Stout's name mentioned. Anyway, gather up the chickens, they come around the cows because the horses are out of the barn. And let me correct myself. Stout is well back in 12th position. Right now, it is Ethan Troutman who's reading the field.
Yeah, Stout, I called him the Dark Lord on the grid, and he starts P3, and there he was looking for the lead in turns 1 and 2. Wasn't able to do anything. It's the 17 machine on the outside of Ethan Troutman trying to take that lead down into 3 and 4.
There we go. Pay attention, Soup. See what's going on. Roll on the top side. That is Alcaraz having a nice run. We get in the first lap clean.
And there you get to
Tuck
see
it in there, Stroud. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, you got to see all the different lanes through the dog leg that time, and Stout got a really good run, cutting that dog leg off. Oh, trouble behind him. The number 14 machine goes around, spins off of turn number 4. We were looking for him. He hit the inside wall there. There he is right there, and he gets it backed up and going. I don't believe anybody else was caught up.
The caution is out for the first time this season.
Take a look at the replay. He gets a little bit of that paint down there in turns 3 and 4. You don't want to do that in these tour modifieds. It'll snap the car around, and that's exactly what happened to Brian Bianchi. All the way to the back he goes.
Bianchi was a winner last season. He's hoping to see if he got one, hoping to get more of them if he can this season. All right, let's set the table for you now. It's the newcomer, Ethan Troutman. He's out in front. Eric Stout will be stuck to the outside on this restart. Behind them, Chad Alcaraz. And then Lewis Flowers. A couple newcomers there with Flowers and Troutman. 90 laps on schedule. Let's go over some of the race details here. You can make a pit stop and you get one set of tires in there if you care to use them. Ricky, interesting when you can make a pit stop. I guess it's feasible that they could use up the rubber, and that's something you might want to do if you get a conveniently placed yellow.
Definitely. And the Tour Modified, it's a lot easier to burn up the right rear tire because you've got so much more power in these than you have the SK Modified that we see the majority of the season. And, if you burn that right rear off on a long green flag run, it could be advantageous to go down there and bolt some tires on those things. So you just have to see how the green flag runs fall. If we get a lot of stop-start, probably no value in bolting tires on.
Beautiful shot as we look down the back straightaway. Good day to go racing here in Phoenix. Okay, well, we got in our first caution. That means we'll go the rest of the way without one.
Yeah, right on these big tracks like Phoenix, you get a little bit more time under caution. But Ethan Troutman all the colors on that car up front. I don't know what your rods and cones are seeing, but I see a little bit of blue, orange, pink, purple. He's got just about every color of the rainbow on that thing. And easy to spot up there, huh?
Because he's a Rainbow Troutman.
Hey, there you go, Ethan Rainbow Troutman.
You know, he specifically asked me not to use that nickname. So, you know.
Poor guy. Come on, Soup.
Well, he didn't want people to draw conclusions from the terminology there. All right. So we're going to put that one away for the rest of the season, Ethan. You don't have to worry. Number 26, Ethan Troutman out in front. Stout on the Altman. Troutman and Stoutman. All right, let's get serious here. We're going to be working lap number 6.
Yeah, Stout started from the 3rd position, was able to use that shortcut in the dog leg to really gain track position and be up here on the front row for the restart.
So a couple guys we need to learn about on the inside. They're behind Troutman as Flowers. We'll get to learn them. They were not here last season. Most everybody else, familiar sight. Okay, they go on green, and the man who went on green was Trout, and he's going to get the jump out there. Cut and take the low line down. That's Troutman, but it's not going to work. New leader, Teacup, out in front. Roll to the top side now as Troutman is pinned down. Working up, there's the number 23 as he tries to go around. That's the 03 of Lewis Flowers.
Yeah, they're stacked up side by side behind Eric Stout. Eric gets a little bit of distance between he and the rest of the field, but behind that, they're lined up tighter than church pews on Easter Sunday, and everybody looking for some room. And let's see what they do in the dog leg. You're going to see a lot of guys jump all the way down to the bottom of the track, and look at that as they come into view. They're everywhere. It looks like they're 5 wide back here for the 4th position going into turn 1.
They get it sorted out and saying, I don't want any of that. Was the 26 of Troutman, so he dropped well back now, racing in 6th position. They're still battling ahead of him. Up on the inside there, that's the 17 of Alcaraz. On the outside, that is Leclerc.
And they still side by side down the front straightaway. And here comes Jeff Aho. I talked about the fact that he had a lot of work to do. He's already made up 4 spots, and he is looking for more as he looks to the outside of Ethan Troutman right here to take that 6th place away. I talked about earlier that when you get down here to turns 3 and 4 where they're headed right now, you can roll the outside. If you're able to hold it there, it's a little bit slower on entry and center, and you can lose some ground. And oh man, Aho gets really, really high right there. Not going to be able to really get the run he wants.
Troutman drifts it up, but now he has momentum, but well out in front now. I'm sorry. That was Aho with the run. Well out in front is Troutman.
Right now, they all get it sorted out inside the top 5 single file, actually all the way through the top 10 single file. And man, it's amazing how quickly they get it sorted out, considering how tight they all were. But there's the guy that just spun just a minute ago, Brian Bianchi, looking for some positions. He had to go all the way to the tail end of the field as he came into the pits and got some work done on that car. He had a lot of front end damage. He spent about 1:20 in the pit road there trying to get it fixed, but he's already made up a lot of ground since the restart, back up to P17.
Quickly, let's look back at car number 271. He's racing in 15th position. Why are we talking about him? Because he's up several spots right now, up 6 spots. He's one of our big movers. We're talking about newcomer Glenn Jameson. Nice to see him out there racing. Next on his list would be Aiden Alvecchion. Look at the different release line as he goes down low. And there's Alvecchion. You'll see him way up high there eventually.
Getting it sorted out. Here's the 71, Fred Leclerc, looking to the inside of Chad Alcaraz, and he wasn't able to do anything there off of turn number 2. Kind of falls back into line, and everybody's seeing what they can find down in 3 and 4.
This is season number 14 for the Red Light Racing League, but they've only come to Phoenix 1 time before. AJ Hamlin was the winner there. Look at this battle here for 2nd position. Lewis Flowers trying to fend off the number 13. That is coming of Joshua Buckley. Buckley now lost momentum, and now he has challenge from the top side from the 70 of Chad Alcaraz.
And that's what can happen when you try to make a move in these modified cars. If you get a little out of shape or you just get pinned side by side with someone, you lose that momentum, and then before you know it, you're under attack from the guy behind you. It just happened to Chad Alcaraz. He was trying to pressure Buckley, and instead, he's under pressure from Fred Leclerc. Leclerc to the inside off of turn 2.
Leclerc, Seattle's bathtubs as they go through 3 and 4 in the popcorn position.
Contact!
Yes, and he moved him out of the way. That was Jeff Aho. That Matty gave a little bit of shove there. They get it all sorted out. Here comes the 21. Go, Ricky.
little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact between Leclerc and the 17 car right there. Alvaro has really lost a lot of ground in that exchange, and now Wanamaker trying to get through this bit of carnage here. You know, everybody kind of getting stacked up, and right behind that, Aho to the outside of the 26 of Troutman. So all these guys under a blanket.
Indeed, and Wanamaker almost got into another driver there. He gets it sorted out.
Wanamaker is through. He is out of that sandwich that he was in just a minute ago, and now Fred Leclerc looks to do the same thing as they battle side by side behind him. Troutman to the inside and Aho to the outside. Aho with a big run off of turn number 2. He's going to clear Troutman and try to get down in line in front of him. Not really able to get all the way to the bottom, but he's going to be able to carry some momentum out on the outside.
Jeff was the champion the season before. Ricky, I've noticed that Aho's taken that high line more than anybody else. Do you think that's going to help the tire wear of the top line? Help a little bit, or doesn't really not matter that much?
Typically that outside lane hurts your tire wear just a little bit, but sometimes it's what the car needs. You know, when you're in a modified car, or really in any car, you're searching for the lane that makes the balance of the car right. If it's too tight, you might want to move around and find another lane. If it's too loose, you move around and find another lane. And that may be why he's running up there. Maybe he's a little bit loose down on the bottom and doesn't want to pinch it off too much, so he runs a little higher. It might wear the tires a little more, but it might make the balance better.
So just to talk a few storylines here, Joshua Buckley is racing in second position. He's up 7 spots. He's cleared everybody. He's got quite a gap to get to Stout. I'm not even sure he wants to run her down. Maybe just wait for a yellow flag and see what he can do. He's made up some good ground. He certainly has some pace. Fred Leclerc is up 7 spots as well. And then we've been watching former champ Jeff Aho in the number 21. He's coming. I think those are the guys to watch when you get down to the end.
No doubt about it. I would agree with you right there. And Aho went to the flat down there on the dog leg just a second ago and got really out of shape when he came back up, and he was just checking up the 26 machine, and 26 got a little bit of contact from Bill Benedict and number 90 behind him. Benedict had to get out of the throttle, lost a bunch of ground. Bradley Steffen got around him. Bradley Steffen is another car that's on the move. He fell back early, and now he's making up a lot of those positions he already lost.
Bradley Steffen was the best of the rest last season. He finished behind Stout more times than he would care to announce. Many second place positions, and right now he's working on the 26 of Troutman. Troutman, a rookie. You know, Ricky, we've done these series a lot. New guys come in and they seem fast, and you watch the first couple laps and you think, oh my goodness, Troutman is going to be somebody to watch. But then you realize they haven't quite figured out how to save their tire. Not necessarily who is fast early on means much about who's going to be fast later.
That could definitely be the case. In these cars, you know, it's a little bit more about tire heat than it is about the wear, but the Tour does get a little bit more wear than the SK modified that we see the bulk of the season. So we do have to keep an eye on that. You just saw in the last corner there that the Troutman got all the way up to the outside wall, trying to get a run on the guys in front of him, but not able to do it. Here's a battle a little further back in the field right here. We've got the 54 machine looking for some ground on the inside of the track.
Rex Hoyle is a veteran of the series. He's
Bob
in a couple
Higgins
positions. The battle continues. Yeah.
He disposes of Rob right there and moves his way forward up to the 12th position. Rex Hoyle is.
Hey, let's turn our attention up front. Now, I don't know if he's just minding the gap, if he's playing possum with Joshua Buckley, but Buckley is definitely closing on Eric Trout.
Joshua Buckley, had to turn up the heat because he started to get some pressure from the third place car of Lewis Flowers. Flowers all over the back of Buckley right now, so Buckley had to pick up the pace a little bit, and I think Eric Stout is targeting hitting about 27.6 on the old stopwatch each lap, and he's not able to do it now. I think he was minding the gap, but these guys are getting a little too close for comfort, so now we start to see Eric Stout get on the throttle a little bit more and try to mind that gap. They're running about the same lap times as the cars behind them, but they're there.
Then the other driver mentioned is Alan Wanamaker. We saw him get into a little side-by-side tussle there, wheel-to-wheel contact earlier on. He started the race farther back, worked his way up 4 spots now, up into 9th.
Yeah, Wanamaker, Aho, and Leclerc all really making up a lot of ground early. as well as Buckley, obviously, as he moved all the way up into the second position, up 7 positions. But man, Buckley has got his hands full with Flowers.
Let's keep our attention here right now. And both of those guys continue, I think, to close the gap on the leader. Ricky, what do you think about these cars? Is there enough power? Could a draft? Could there be a bit of a tow situation? Or if so, if there a problem with like aero push compared to being in the draft?
Yeah, thankfully these things don't have too terribly much aero push, but they do get a draft. When you get to a track the size of Phoenix right here, you're going to see that come into effect down these long straightaways. Lots of power in these things to get up off of the corners, so you don't see quite as much draft as you would in the SK Modified at some of the other tracks we go to. But in the Tour Modified, there's still enough. So they're sniffing it off of the 12 machine right here, and that's why the 4 of these are kind of starting to come in together. The yo-yo is contracted.
We've been jumping you around a lot, but we're going to stay up here so you can get a feel of this race.
Really clicking off the lap.
Yeah.
Almost a third of the way through this thing.
The yellow car of Wanamaker could be really good. We've reached not quite the halfway mark. Buckley getting the rear end of the car a little bit wide. I think he's really using up his rear end.
I think he's just searching for a lane to close that gap to Stout. He was dealing with Flowers for a couple of corners there. Now Flowers has kind of stopped pressuring him. I haven't seen him poke the nose out and look over the last few laps. So maybe, Flowers just trying to cool those tires off. But look at the run that Buckley got down the back straightaway. He goes to the inside of Stout, and he's going to pressure him for the lead off of turn number 4.
iRacing's going to score a new leader at the line. It is Granny hits Joshua Buckley. Now, can he finish the pass? Is he in the preferred position? Well, we're not sure. Let's see if Stout pins him down. Teacup on the outside, Granny hips on the inside. They are Cialis bathtubs. Down the backstretch. They go into 3 and 4 side by side. Now the advantage to the top side. Let's see if it's momentum versus the shortest way around that's going to pay off. Stout gives him a little more room, and one more time, Ricky, the inside line prevails, at least for now.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to clear him down there, I do believe. But I think if Buckley can get it right down to the bottom without getting loose, he gets a little bit of the paint down there. That yellow paint will upset the car. You got to be careful. He lost some momentum when he did that, and that gives the advantage to the 12 machine. And he almost clears him down the back straightaway. Stout dives it down into turn number 3. He's going to wash up the track. I think he had to get out of the gas. It's going to give the momentum back to Buckley.
Lucky I'm not spotting for Trout, because I would have said clear, and I don't think he was. So the battle continues now, working on the 4th lap, side by side. Oh my goodness. Lewis Wildflowers back there right in behind. There's room to make it 3 wide here. He could have a vision coming off of 4. It gets really wide. He's got to run. He gets a little bit of a bump to Granny Hips. He gives Joshua Buckley a little bit of a move. Now that costs him momentum, and here comes Wanamaker.
Yeah, I think it caused a little bit of side-by-side contact between Stout and Buckley. Stout went way up the track, maybe just giving some room. I couldn't tell if they made any contact, but that's going to give the advantage to Buckley. Buckley finishes the job. Is there going to be a crossover coming off of turn number 2? A little bit of a run for Eric Stout. Is he going to peek out? No, he is not. He's going to follow Buckley down into turn number 3. But Buckley takes a really wide arc there going into 3, and he leaves the bottom open for Stout.
I don't know much about racing, but I know that 2 cars side by side are not going to be as fast as the cars that are single file. So now Stout gets the pass back, but this is allowed. Here he comes, former champion Jeff Aho. He is here. Watch out for the 21. He's moved into 4th around Leclerc.
Yeah, and Flowers gets to the inside of Buckley right there. Buckley doesn't like that outside. He got up there and really lost a lot of speed really fast. And here comes Aho to the inside of Buckley. He's going to challenge for that 3rd position. But Flowers is trying not to let Eric Stout out of his line of sight here.
I wonder if Buckley just has to cool it off a minute and lets the tires settle down a bit. Maybe they got a little bit angry with all that racing with Stout. Whatever it is, they settle down, and Buckley, who was just in the lead now, falls back into 4th.
Here's another battle right behind him. Alan Wanamaker slipping back. To his inside comes Fred Leclerc. Leclerc makes easy work of Wanamaker, and it almost seems like Wanamaker's just kind of riding at the back of this pack, not trying to do too much. But Fred Leclerc ran them down from a good ways back to get into this battle for 2nd.
Okay, we talked about in the opening how dominant Eric Stout was last season. What I think the guys may be doing Everyone may be taking a shot at Stout. Whose turn is it next? Well, right now it's Lou's Wildflowers. Let's see if you can go up and make him use up his stuff. You know, Ricky, I think 4 or 5 guys come up there, race him hard. Eventually he's going to run out of rubber.
That's a possibility, but I think he showed before he knows how to manage the rubber. This is an interesting position that these drivers are in now. 35 laps in the books. We've only had that one caution early on, and now you've run quite a few laps on your tires. It may be advantageous to have a little tire strategy if a caution comes out at this point, but we don't want to see that with these guys battling up front. We've got a good battle here for the lead. Flowers is closing in on Stout and trying to make something happen in turns 1 and 2.
BGN prides itself in showing you all the racing through the field, but I'm telling you, right now, if you want the best racing, it's right up front. Here he comes, taking a peek. Oh, he's going to close the door. Woo!
Oh, man, that's so lucky that they didn't wreck right there, and they're about to come together. Oh, man, they're into the inside wall. Oh, no, Alan Wanamaker gets into it as well. Here comes more cars barreling down the front straightaway, just trying to miss all these disabled cars, and they wreck, racing for the lead on the front stretch.
It looked to me like Stout got loose through the dogleg. I don't know if that's possible. Let me see if I saw it right. All of a sudden, he turns down in. Let's see.
He thinks he's clear. He's coming down to cut the dogleg, and he is unaware that Flowers was to his inside. And unfortunately, Alan Wanamaker is an innocent bystander of that. Gets caught up. Ooh, a little bit of contact, too, for the 90 and the 17 cars as they came blazing through there. That's Bill Benedict and Chad Alcaraz, who we saw earlier up near the front. Man, there it is. Stout just comes down. He thinks he's clear, and he is not. There's Wanamaker right into the back of the disabled car there. And here comes these other two I just mentioned a second ago. Whoop, a little bit of contact right there. And the 17 of Alcaraz hard into the inside wall as well. Heavy damage to those guys.
Well, now past the halfway mark, some drivers are thinking that maybe a pit stop might be best for them.
Yeah, a lot of cars coming down pit road right here. You have Aho and Bianchi staying out, but a lot more cars coming into the pit road, including Josh Buckley, who was running up there in that third spot. Bradley Steffen down onto pit lane. Ethan Troutman, a lot of these guys. Let's see if they're going to bolt tires on this thing. I see the right sides going up on just about everybody's car down here in pit lane. Let's see if anybody goes for 2 or if we're going to see a lot of 4 tire stops.
Looking at this, I'm seeing that that Aho has decided to stay out. And
that's right.
He's he's alone in that decision.
Yeah, Aho and Bianchi are the only 2. They both stayed out. Behind them, we've got a lot of guys that decided to take 2 tires. I saw a lot of 2 tire stops, and that's probably about the first 5 guys out there on 2 tires, and then you got a lot of 4 tires behind them. Starting, I know, with Ethan Troutman, who's going to restart in about the 9th position. So 2 guys on no tires, then you've got about 5 guys on 2 tires, and the rest of the field on 4.
Just to be clear, if you're new to the sport, all the cars have tires. When my partner said no tires, he meant there are no new tires out there. You know what's interesting about Bianchi? This is his second pit, or it would have been his second pit stop. He pitted way back on like I don't know, lap 4 or 5.
Yeah, he had a lot of damage to fix on the nose of that car. I don't know what the suspension deal is with that car, if he got any bent suspension pieces. So we're going to find out. He was working his way back up through the field, so I think the car's driving all right as they come down toward the restart zone here on lap 40.
But we get a new name up there now, Bill Benedict in the 90 machine. Let's see what he can do his first time racing near the front. Be interesting. Old tires against clear air. Jeff Aho, the champion, not last season, but the season before. Very disappointing defending champion. Just could not get it going last season. Stout really had it his own ways. They come out of corner number 4. They go on green. All right, look at Benedict. Benedict is in great shape with the 90. He's looking for somewhere to put the car. Nowhere to go right now. Rolling the top side. That is Bianchi.
Oh, man, it's a mess behind these guys. Everybody going everywhere in turns 1 and 2, just looking for some space. And here comes guys on tires. The number 90, that is Bill Benedict. He's got 2 fresh tires on the right side here. And behind all of that, there's the 12 machine of Stout, who was involved in that incident, but he did not lose a whole lot of time there. He took 2 tires as well, and he's looking at the inside 3 wide underneath the 54 car going into turn number 1. Rex Hoyle gives him a little bit of room. They almost got together there.
Boy, Stout is wandering that car around like a... Oh, he's racing like a drunk chasing a balloon near a cliff. It's fun to watch, but it usually doesn't end well. But right now, he seems to got it. It's good to see that Rex Hoyle is back racing up front. He has certainly the capability when he's done so in the past.
A lot of tight racing through that dog leg. I've talked about it earlier. There's a lot of different lines you can take through there, but it's really easy to come together and make contact. You don't know where the other cars are. It's hard to tell when you're clear and when you're not. So this battle for second, really intense, and it's kind of stacking everybody behind them up. You see Josh Buckley also was involved in that incident. He's back here fighting inside the top 10 still.
Benedict now clears for second position. Boy, they are really working behind him. That's the 71 taking our breath away there. Leclerc and Stout as well.
Yeah, Stout got into the back of the 71 of Leclerc there, going down into, or coming out of the dog leg right there. And it's just everybody getting stacked up here on these restarts. And Stout gets a little bit of the yellow line down there in the bottom, gets really loose. He's able to hang on to it. But look at everybody dive for that dog leg and just cut the track off over there. All these different lanes, and they just have to try not to come together.
Telling you, he's a junk chasing the balloon by a cliff right now, and he's got to keep the car straight, because there's the 13 of Joshua Buckley. Both Buckley and Stout were racing up front. They're back 4 or 5 cars now, but they've worked their way back even after the incident that Stout had.
And so far, these 2 tires not really looking to do anything for these guys. They don't look any faster. Now, it might show up a little later when the pressures really come up and the wear starts to come into effect. If we get another long green flag run right here, but Aho has checked out. He is gone. He has over a 1 second lead from the rest of the field here. Benedict on 2 tires, Leclerc on two tires, and they are not really closing the gap just yet. They are a little faster than Aho, but it's going to take some time.
Well, we saw Stout with a big lead, and now Aho has another one. That evaporated, so we'll see how it plays out. Remember, Aho on old tires. Somebody introducing themselves to the field. Car number 40 saying, hello, my name is Rob Higgins, and I'm racing in the citrus-flavored number 40, and I've worked my way up into 7th position. Rex Hoyle chasing him.
Good battles here all over the place. TJ Henson down here all the way, cutting that dog leg short down there, and picking up a spot on the 26 of Ethan Troutman. And Troutman is one of those guys that took 4 tires. Henson as well. They're the farthest up, I believe, that took 4 tires. Everybody in front of them on 2. And they have not been able to make inroads to the rest of the field.
25 laps to make those tires pay off. Well, we should have known better to question a former champion. When everybody came in, Jeff Aho said, I don't need to. And certainly, the old tires are not hurting him.
Not yet, but we just have to wait and see if anything comes to fruition for the rest of the field here. Aho, last time by, bested the rest of the cars behind him by over 1/10 of a second. So nobody really closing the gap except Eric Stout. A little bit further back, but Eric's got some work to do. He goes to the inside of Fred Leclerc down here in turn 1. He is going to try to get that 3rd position, and he will do it off of turn 2. Next on his hit list, Bill Benedict. And Bill's got a little bit of a gap, about a half a second over Stout. And then Stout can set his eyes on Jeff Aho.
Benedict didn't race last season, so he may not know the reputation of Stout. I think he's going to learn the name Teacup very soon. Look at this racing back here, what we have found. My goodness.
Yeah, these guys are all over each other like white on rice back here. A lot of 2x2 like Noah's Ark, as you like to say. And here goes the number 19 looking to the outside of the 62. That's TJ Henson and Josh Buckley. Remember, Buckley involved in that incident. He took some hard hits, and really, car looks okay.
Boy, he must like this place. Good battle up ahead. Let's jump up to this Hoyle battle with Higgins. I've been watching Higgins. He's coming. Last time we talked about him, he was in 7th. Now he's in 6th. He's soon to go back to 7th because working the high side is Rex Hoyle, and he's booking it right now. Hoyle into 6th.
He was able to find a lot of speed there. Going through turn 2, it looked like the 40 of Higgins got a little bit of a wiggle, and that checked him up just a little bit, gave the momentum to Hoyle, and Hoyle able to get it done and take that 6th position. Top 5, single file in front of him.
Great shot. You can see those fronts are all lined up single file. Biggest Bill Benedict fan just joined the fan club is Jeff Aho. Aho would love Benedict to slow down Eric Stout as he starts to make his drive through the field.
Yeah, and right now, Stout really not able to close in on Benedict. He's close to got just a hair, but maybe just biding his time. He's got quite a bit of time left in this race, 35 laps to go still, before he needs to get up there and battle for the lead. So running about the same pace as the 90 of Benedict right now is Eric Stout.
55 laps on that set of tires is Jeff Aho compared to 15 laps for Benedict and Stout. The laps cannot tick away fast enough for Aho. Go ahead.
Yeah, look at this graphic our director has put up on the screen right here. You can see that the gap has been closing almost every lap there on Aho as Benedict and Stout both make some inroads on him. And that is not great news if you're Jeff Aho.
Little by little, the two begin to gain.
And they're there. That 90 of Bill Benedict, he is sniffing that draft, and he is all over the back bumper of the 21 machine of Aho now as they come through turns 3 and 4. The question is, can he do anything with him? He cuts that dog leg really aggressively right there. And man, a car coming out of the pits, that was Alan Wanamaker. And that's one of the dangers of cutting the dog leg. Sometimes you don't see cars exiting the pit road, and they can be a new obstacle that joins the fray.
Equally spaced between your front 3 drivers. Benedict is coming.
Stout really turning up the heat in the last couple of laps right here. He's closed his gap down quite a bit in the last 2 laps. So I think that's lighting a fire under Benedict. Benedict's trying to get going and trying to make something happen here as they come through turns 1 and 2. But he's not able to get any closer to Aho right there.
Quickly, let's put the camera on car number 54, Rex Hoyle. If we get a caution flag and these guys get bunched up, watch out for Hoyle. He's really quick. He continues to click off positions one by one, up 10 spots, doing it all on the track, trying to leave the number 14 there, Brian Bianchi, behind him.
Right, doing a really good job of that 54 machine with Hoyle. Got a little bit of a gap to close to get up to Fred Leclerc. As you see a little bit of battling further back. That's the 13 of Buckley trying to get underneath of Higgins in front of him, but Henson looking to the inside of him as they come through turns 3 and 4.
So wide here at Phoenix, but these guys are doing a great job of cycling back up into the traffic and getting it sorted out. Good track awareness. All right, Ricky, I'm going to get into your head here for a little bit.
TJ Henson just got out of shape over there in turns 1 and 2. He was able to recover, but he lost all that track position. He was battling side by side with Buckley for the 8th position. He's all the way back to 12th behind this Pat now. Sorry to interrupt you.
No. Okay, help me out. If you're Jeff Aho, this question may answer itself. Would you want a caution right now to let your tires cool off? Because I guess really there's no loss in it. Benedict is now there. He's coming quick.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of benefit to letting the tires get a little heat cycle there. It's going to make them even more equal than they are right now. Aho on those old tires, and now you're seeing the 2 tires come into play here. And this is what I said, it takes a few laps to really find that advantage of the tires, and that's what Benedict and Stout have both done. They've closed the gap to Aho, and now they're starting to put some pressure on him. Benedict riding that top lane over there in 1 and 2. Remember, you can run just about anywhere you want to get a run over there. And here they go down into turns 3 and 4, and you see Benedict staying a little bit higher. Both those guys running a little bit higher lane, but Stout entered really low and drifted up off the corner. He gets a huge run down the front stretch.
Ricky, what's better than a 2-car battle for the lead?
I'd say a 3-car battle for the lead.
You got it, baby. Have we worked together before? All right. Here he comes, the defending champion.
Stout
moving to the inside, and he's got it.
Easy work. And he has such a different line down there in turns 3 and 4, Eric Stout does. Let's watch this next time he comes by. He gets a huge run off of turn number 2 when he does this. And you see how much he closes the gap on Aho right there. Down into turns 1 and 2, they run fairly equal. You see Stout getting a bit of a run off of turn 2. But what Eric Stout likes to do is he dives way down to the inside here in turn 3, and then he drifts it up the track way higher than all the other competitors around him. And you see him do it right here with Aho. This gives him a huge run down the front stretch. He gets into the back of Aho just a little bit. He looks to the outside as they come towards turn 1.
And that's going to allow Benedict back into the picture.
Stout's going to set him up again.
All this going on behind Aho. The laps click away, but 19 laps. 9 laps. So very far for Jeff Aho.
Another big run for Eric Stout. He looks this time to the inside of Aho. A little bit of bumper hook right there between the two. They're going to come together again in turn 1, and they both get away with it. It nudges the 21 machine of Aho up the track just a little bit, that contact from Stout does, and Stout trying to hang in on the bottom. He's not going to be able to do it. Aho is clear, but he's going to leave the inside open for Stout. Stout gets a big run down into turn 3. Aho way up the track. Can he build some momentum down the front straightaway, or is Stout going to get the job done right now?
You want momentum? Benedict had momentum when they continue the battle. Benedict, knowing that's going to be hard to pass Stout, I'll need to do it while he's fighting out there with Aho. They get it sorted out. Now the question is, can the newcomer run down the front? He does!
He takes it down to the inside. They're going to be really close down here in turns 3 and 4. The 90 machine trying to build a run, and he's able to get a great run off of turn number 4. They pull even going down the front stretch through the dog leg, and Bill Benedict sticks it to the inside of turn 1.
We saw Stout do it on the inside. Now he's going to have to try it on the outside. But he's really been heating up his tires to get around Aho. Meanwhile, Benedict was back there cool and smooth as a new jar of peanut butter. But Stout comes right down in front of him and closes the door.
Yeah, Benedict really got him a break right there. Got on the brakes. He knew that he was just clear, and it looked like Stout was going to take that lane. But, man, they are battling like crazy for the 3rd position. Aho trying with everything he's got left in those tires to hold off Fred Leclerc. He's not going to be able to do it. Leclerc almost clear off of turn number 2. Here comes another run from Aho on the top side. But look at this, battle for the lead. To the top goes Bill Benedict on Eric Stout. Is he going to be able to make it happen off of 4?
We saw a great run from Benedict off of 4 before. It's not going to happen that time. The laps continue to tick away. We're working lap number 71 to 75.
Here comes Rex Hoyle. He's into that battle for the 3rd position. He looks under Aho. He was right on the back of Fred Leclerc going down into turn 1. Is he going to be able to make quick work of Aho and get up here in the battle in front of him? Not so fast, says Jeff Aho. He gets a great run down the backstretch and dives it down into turn number 3, and those two go side by side off of 4. Hoyle with the advantage.
We knew Hoyle was going to be good, but there's just too much real estate between him and the leaders. If a caution were to come out, he could be a threat. Let's turn our attention now for these final laps, and we watch Bill Benedict work on the back of 2-time champion Eric Stout. He's a car length back. He stays to the outside. Watch him dive down through 3 and 4. He's really good off of 4, maybe better than Stout right now. Stout says, no, I'm not, Soup. I can get a good drive off, and he opens up the lead a little bit more.
Right, these top two have built a bit of a gap over the 3rd place car there. The 71 of Fred Leclerc. Fred trying to close that gap down, just not able to do it yet. But Bill Benedict has not let go of the back bumper of Eric Stout. He's all over him. Coming off of 2, he gets a great run down the backstretch. He looks to the outside, a little bit of contact between their bumpers, and the 90 of Benedict will just fall in line behind Stout through turns 3 and 4. He's going to have to mount a charge later.
Working lap number 74 now.
Caution
2 to
flag
go.
Flies.
Oh,
Caution
no.
flag flies with 17 laps remaining in this race. And I don't know where the incident was on the track.
Rob
Higgins.
And the 27, we haven't heard much about Kevin Alicia.
Oh, man. This changes everything up front right here. Everybody's tires getting a chance to cool off, and it's all going to be about that restart. You see a couple cars got spun around, but it all started with the 40 of Higgins. Higgins had to go down into turn 3 in the middle of 3 wide and gets a little out of shape. He gets up into the car to his outside, which is Bradley Steffen. And here, watch Steffen. Steffen hangs onto this thing when the 40 gets into him going down into turn 3. Take a look at this.
Nice. Save that thing. Amazing.
Oh, man. And then contact from the 17 finishes him off.
Okay, well, we talked about the caution that was going to come. Maybe not what Aho wanted, because he was beginning to fade. He's going to have a hard time hanging on to fourth, especially on the outside. But the guy we thought that, in fact, is he on pit road? Is that what I just heard?
Sure is.
No,
and
Jeff.
So it brings Buckley with him.
No. It's 2 laps to the end. Your car
actually,
will make
16 to go. We got a 90.
Oh, I thought we were going 75. Oh,
so he's got a few laps, but it's not enough. I mean, we just saw that run. It took 15 laps before the tires really came in to contend with the guys that stayed out, and it's not going to be better here.
You look up on the screen there, you can see laps to go, 15. I've done this before. All right, we're not going 75. We're not going 100. We're going 90. Come on, Sue, get with it. It's the first race of the season. All right, well, that said, I take back my uh-oh for Aho and say, well done. That seems like a smart move.
I don't know, man. I don't think he's going to have enough time to get it done. And but you know, time will tell. He's got the pace. We know that. So can he get through this field fast enough? I think he's going to need a couple of cautions to help him out.
This is where the director gets to show me my favorite graphic. Throw it up in the corner there. And you can see all those cars that pitted. Where you see the breakdown there, and then you go all the way down to Aho, and you see just a little bit there. That's when he made that last stop, his first stop.
Whew, 17th position. That's just not what I like to look at if I'm Aho, with less laps than that remaining in the race.
Oh, baby, a defending champ with fresh rubber. He saved it for just, I think this is just what he was looking for. There's a reason he didn't come in and take tires before, and this is right where he wants to be. 17th with 23 to, read the sign, Sue, 14 to go.
Now the question becomes, can Bill Benedict in that 90 machine mount another charge on Stout? He pressured him over and over again. Now, with even tires and another heat cycle here, they got a chance to cool them off. They should be pretty equal, and brings Rex Hoyle right into this battle. Just what he was looking for. He's going to restart on the outside of the second lane. Can anybody from further back make any noise on these guys up front? We're about to find out.
They do not go with the leader. They go on the green flag. They wait, they wait, they wait. That should be a very even start. Look at, nobody's doing any horseplay. Everybody's steady right up front. Everybody on the throttle together. Hoyle maybe a little bit late to the gas. Shorter way around. Stout has the lead right now.
Yeah, good start, though, from Benedict on the outside lane. He's going to have some momentum down here in turns 1 and 2. You see the 71 machine wiggle just a little bit. Leclerc falls back, but the 90 of Bill Benedict mounts a run on Stout. He goes to the bottom going into turn number 3. He's going to dive it in there, but not able to make it stick. Has to back off. Stout's going to come out with the lead coming to the line.
Going to lose momentum now. Leclerc going underneath. New driver into second, the 71 of Fred Leclerc.
You don't want to break your momentum that much if you're Bill Benedict, and unfortunately he tried to make a move to the inside, broke his momentum, and he loses a position for his efforts. He's going to go back to the inside of Leclerc down here in turn 3. Let's see if he can get the job done on Leclerc and gain back what he just lost. He pulls even with him at the start-finish line, gets ahead of him, but they're still side-by-side down the front stretch.
New feature here on VGN is called the Jeff Aho Watch. Where is he? He's up to 12th. Here he comes.
Well, he's picked off more cars than laps have gone by, so that's a good sign. But it gets harder as he gets to the front, so we'll see how he's able to do it. They're side-by-side all over the place down here in turns 3 and 4. Look at this. The 90 machine of Bill Benedict gets clear of the 71 of Fred Leclerc, and he's going to set his sights on Eric Stout, but he's got a gap to close now. Can he do it? Look at the 26 all the way down there on the apron. That is a line that you can take here at Phoenix, but it did not look like it did any favors for him. He lost all his momentum, and the whole field goes by in a big wreck in front of him. Brian Bianchi goes around. Oh no, the 89 rolls over right next to him. Bradley Steffen on his lid, not with the direction you want to be pointed. And this works in Aho's favor. It gets him back closer to the leaders on a restart with less than 10 to go.
So 2 former winners from last season get together.
And going down into turn number 3. Oh, just a little bit of contact. And then another car piles in there, and over goes the 89 as it rolls down the banking there. And he's going to have to get that thing towed back to pit road.
So let's set the table for you. Stout was beginning to open up a lead on Bill Benedict, but that won't happen right now. They'll gather back up. I thought that the 54 of Hoyle was going to have something for the guys. He did not. But Aho, when it's all sorted out, will be in 11th.
Yeah, one who did make some inroads right there was TJ Henson. Henson did a fantastic job on that restart, coming from a little bit further back on the restart and making his way up into the 5th position. So good work by him getting through the crowd and being in contention.
We've heard these guys talk about heat cycles. Help me out a little about that. Do you think the tires start to even out after a run for a while, and then they get one of these?
Yeah, well, not necessarily on the run. On the run, you're building heat, and if you build more heat than the guys around you, they're going to slow down a little bit more. But when a caution comes out, that allows the tires to cool off. They vulcanize and basically go back to how they are when they're fresh. They're a lot cooler. Now, obviously, you have some wear taken away, and depending on how hard you work them, you've lost some of that wear that you'd like to have on the tires, but essentially it's an equalizer. Everybody is on closer to equal tires after a heat cycle.
All right, so much to watch on this restart. Here's some names we haven't mentioned. Remember Ethan Troutman? He raced up front for a while, but he's worked his way back up into a nice position, into 7th. We haven't talked about Chris Oliver. He's an 8th. Glenn Jameson was a driver I thought was going to work his way through the field. He kind of slowed down, but now because of the way things have played out, he's inside the top 10.
I talked about this caution being a benefit for Aho, but he only made it up to the 11th position, even with those cars wrecking there. So, man, still an awful lot of work to do coming back to 6 to go.
Started in 17th, has made up, well, you can do the math, 6 spots. All right, the pace car's in. It was a long long yellow flag, too. That did not help Aho's case. Benedict was really good on the restart last time. Let's see. They wait. Who's going to go? Oh, they're playing it fair. Good start from both the guys up front. The inside line, that's Leclerc with a run.
Yeah, Stout with a really good restart. Leclerc stayed right with him, and Hoyle did as well. They're all stacking up. Hoyle gets contact from behind. Hoyle is trying to hold on to it. He's hanging on like a possum in a hurricane, and he goes around down in turn 1 and 2. And that's going to bring out the yellow flag with just 5 laps to go to come back.
Do possums and hurricanes, are they notorious for being able to hang on? I guess so, because they got nowhere to go. So, all right. I like that one.
Ooh, look at that, man. He almost had it saved. He wags the dog 1 extra time, and around she goes into the inside wall just a little bit. Unfortunate for Hoyle. He was having a great run up here in the top 5.
Indeed. Jinxing these guys. Well, so again, let's go ahead and look at our Aho watch. It was 11th. Now it's 9th. Running out of time, though, is Jeff.
Yeah, he really needed to make up more than that on that restart. Now the caution working against him because he didn't get enough time to get around anybody.
Yeah.
But do we have any green, white checkers here in the red light racing?
We do indeed. I think we have we're hearing no from the director. I believe there's one. Yeah, we have all that you need. Yes.
So that if we get into that scenario, yeah, that will work into his favor. But I believe we're going to get a natural green, white checkered here. I don't think we're going to use one of the 3. We'll wait and see when they come back through the line. It'll be 3 to go if they get the 1 to go signal. They'll get the all-natural, cage-free, organic green-white checker.
You know, Phoenix is so wide here that Fred Leclerc probably has a better chance to win this from third than he would on many a short track. If Benedict can get a good jump and Stout can battle, they'll lose momentum. There's a possibility that Leclerc can come in there and stick his nose down and see what he can do. He could steal one.
Yeah, and it's really interesting in turns 1 and 2 because there's so many lanes to choose from. You can go anywhere. I mean, if you get to the inside, Leclerc, he could go all the way to the apron if he wants, but it doesn't look like it works well in these modifieds. So I would expect that if you're going to make a move, you need to stay above the yellow line, and you need to get side by side with Stout before you get down to turn 1.
That again, acknowledge the performance by Glenn Jameson. Up a bunch of positions. All right. We're going to go around one more time, and then we'll get this thing going. Working lap number 88.
The lights out on the pace car, so that means we will have that natural green-white checkered. So there's still an opportunity for green-white checkers. But remember, if we come back to the white flag, that means no more yellow flag will be displayed. So once that white flag goes into the air, we're going to finish this thing under the green flag. So it'll be interesting to see if these guys can get that one lap completed, get back to the white flag, and finish this thing under green.
Red light racers are pretty darn good, fellas. I would imagine that we're going to get this done here in the finishes up on the required numbers of laps without any overtime. Okay, let's turn our attention up front. He has led 50 laps of the 88 race. We're talking about Eric Teapot Stout. Newcomer, Bill Benedict. See if he can go to school on the outside. He's had 2 chances to learn how to do this. Watch out for Leclerc. If there's any hesitation between the front 2 guys, he's there to pounce. Benedict with a better jump than before. Better than before, Ricky.
Great restart for the 90 of Benedict, and a great restart for the 71 of Leclerc, but he's not close enough to make a move. It's going to be Eric Stout with the advantage going down into turn 1, but look at the run from the outside. Bill Benedict comes alongside, and they're going to almost come together. They're looking 3 wide. The 71 of Leclerc to the inside, Stout to the middle, Benedict to the outside, and the caution flag flies. We're going to have a green-white checkered attempt for an incident further back. The 52 of Chris Oliver is going backwards down into turn number 3. Not sure if it started with him or somebody else, but not going to end it just yet. Looked like Buckley and Oliver came together down the backstretch.
Oh, you talked about going to school. Benedict did his homework and was all over Stout. He was going to make him really work for it. Had a great run out of 2, but I don't know if
he has scored the leader. Bill Benedict has scored the leader.
He had the advantage. Believe it though.
He had the advantage. Let's go look at the replay. Okay. Going through turns 1 and 2, Stout had the advantage. The caution did not happen until the back of the field got into it on the back straightaway. So the caution was displayed as the leaders got close to turn 3. Guess who is out front? Bill Benedict by about a half a car length. And here we're going to see it. Bill Benedict on the outside, Eric Stout in the middle. And there you see the wreck happen. The caution flag's displayed now. Benedict is in front of Stout.
Look at that. I love you, partner. Well done. And what a great replay from our director. That's perfect because that truly might be the turning point of the race. So, you got to figure Bill's going to go to the inside on Eric, right?
He got the jump from the outside.
That's what I'm saying. He just made it work on the outside. So does he go to the inside?
The leader has lane choice here. So, the problem with choosing the outside is that you just can't cut the dog leg off, and you end up losing a bunch of ground on the initial launch there when everybody crosses the line and dives down to the inside. That shorter distance really, really helps on restarts. And that's the issue. If the leader had control of the field and could go in a restart zone, I think that makes a big difference. But I believe we're always going on the green flag, so that makes a huge difference as we come back to get the one to go.
And a tip of the hat to both of these guys for playing that fair, because a lot of times you'll have a guy sandbag and roll back a little bit and get on the throttle. Yeah, he may be side by side with you when the flag waves, but he's got the momentum. These guys are playing it very straight. And let's hope they can do it for one more time. Benedict is going to take the inside, even though he just made the pass work from before. But honestly, he only made the pass work because the yellow flew at the right time. Stout had the lead back if the yellow was going to fly.
And of course, that could happen again. This is the thing about being on the outside. If you can just get a decent restart, you'll get the run down the back straightaway. You will get your nose out in front on the backstretch. So
Eric, get up there. Stout trying to. He's just lying back a little bit. Wants to get a little bit of a jump on Benedict. Get up there. So okay, that's better.
There we go. We stacked up tight now.
That's better. Oh, well, they are very tight. They wait a little bit of a roll in there from Benedict. Now the flag comes out. Good jump from the 90. Stout has nowhere to go. He's got 6 corners to get this done.
And you see that Benedict cut off a lot of that dog leg. The shorter distance around gets him clear to the lead. Now Stout's got his hand full for the second position as Troutman looks to the inside, or as Troutman is on the back of him, and Fred Leclerc looks to the inside in the 71. A little bit of contact behind him. The 62 car gets a little bit of contact, but everybody's clean and green going down to the turns 3 and 4. The white flag is in the air for Bill Benedict as he crosses the line.
Bill Benedict saying, Fred Leclerc, go get him. Stout continues to fall. We don't know much about him. We know that he's fast. We know that he races the number 90, and we know that he has 2 corners between him and his first victory here in season number 14. He is Bill Benedict. He is as smooth as a new jar of peanut butter, smooth as dolphin skin, coming out of the final corner. The opening round goes to Bill Benedict. Fred Leclerc gets second. Eric Teapot Stout will settle for third.
What a battle at the end of this race, and shout out to Bill Benedict for making a fantastic move and getting a great restart at the end of that race.
Well. In a galaxy far, far away, upsets can happen, and it happened right here in Phoenix. With that said, we'll take a short break. We'll come back, run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. You're watching the Virtual Get Network. Welcome back to Phoenix International Raceway and the Virtual Grip Network's Live as It Happens coverage of the Skitter Creek SK Modified Series. It's season 14, and we just finished up the opening round, first of 20 in this very, very exciting season. Let's go ahead and give you the race winner. Well, we're going to get to learn a little bit about this man. I don't know much about him. He's car number 90, Bill Benedict. He started in 10th spot, and he gets the win, and he won it legitimately, beating Eric Stout, who had to settle for third. Fred Leclerc watched restart after restart after restart from the popcorn position, but was able to pick up that spot, but could not get Benedict for the win. Fourth and fifth goes to Ethan Troutman and TJ Henson. The back half of your top 10, we watched them all race. Very quietly, Glenn Jameson went from 22nd to 6th, and it was sneaky under the radar. Somebody we're going to keep an eye on for the rest of the season. Rob Higgins, Jeff Aho, he was up front, but he's had such bad luck, and it continues over from last season into season 14. Adino Vecchione will come home in 9th. Rounding out your top 10 is former winner last season, Brandon Feeney.
In the 11th position, it's the double aught, Dwayne Hopkins, making up quite a few positions there, 8 to be exact, along with Chris Hazlip, who came all the way up to the 12th place position at the end of that race. Kevin Alicia finishes in 13th, Chris Oliver 14th, Joshua Buckley, we saw him running strong early, involved in some incidents, and finishes in the 15th position. Brian Bianchi finishes in 16th, Rex Hoyle 17th, Bruce Pearson 18th. Bradley Steffen finishes 19th, and Alan Wanamaker in 20th.
What does good qualifying get you in a red light racing league event? Well, if you qualify second, you're going to finish in the blackjack spot. If you qualify fifth, how about the double deuce position? That's what happened to Chad Alcaraz and Lewis Wildflowers. Flowers was up front. Welcome to RLR Racing. Hopefully he'll be back. He had a tough debut. And then we didn't hear much from David Visnow as he finishes in 23rd spot. Hopefully we'll hear more from him next week. With that said, let's go ahead and get to know car number 90, Bill Benedict. Do we have him, Director? We do indeed. Bill Benedict, it's Soup's on up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Soup.
Oh my goodness, what a race. It was fun to watch it. Restart after restart. Stout was getting you, and then you got him. That yellow flag flew just at the right time. Did you know you were good?
Oh, I wasn't sure until I looked down at the scoring and saw that I was P1. I thought, oh, this sets me up for the next one. That was awesome.
Okay. But, were you aware that the leader gets choice of lane?
Yes, but I wanted the bottom. I knew I was fast on the top, but I wanted the bottom.
It was a hard call because we just saw you make the restart and make the pass, even though you had to work really hard. But you said that was way too much hard work. You had a much better chance on the inside, and sure enough, you did.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that was some incredible racing with Eric. That was a lot of fun.
Okay, are you new to red light racing, or have you been around a while and you're new to this race on Thursday night?
I'm new to the race on Thursday nights, and I'm new to modifieds pretty much in general. I think this is my third ever race with modifieds, but I've been running 2 years already with the Scrambler, 2 seasons with the Scrambler series on Mondays. Where do you hail from? What do you do? I live in just outside of High Point, North Carolina, and I am a platform administrator for a medical device company.
Oh, hang on a minute. Okay, I like the job. You live in North Carolina and you're new to the modified? I thought that was like a birthright that you had to be able to drive that car to even vote there.
Well, I've only lived here for 4 years. I've spent my life living in Indiana. So.
Oh, there you go. There we go. Cars we race in Indiana are much faster. All right. We'll see you down the road. Congratulations. Hopefully we'll get to do this again.
Thank you very much. I look forward to it.
Bill Benedict, your race winner today. And we learned a little bit about him. All right, partner, who you got?
Well, it's Fred Leclerc who finished in P2 tonight, and he did a great job working his way through the field early on and was really looking at the leaders most of the night. Fred, how's it feel to finish up here in P2 tonight?
That feels good to come home P2. Glad it's in one piece. Didn't have a bad night. It's nice.
You had a lot of looks there at the leader a couple of different times tonight, but tell us about that one coming to the white flag. You had a chance to take him 3 wide and thought better of it.
I didn't think I should try that because I put Eric in bad situations before, like last season at Concord, and I didn't want to put it in a bad spot again. I wanted to finish the race clean, race them guys for the win if I could.
Well, I think that move paid off for you as the racing gods smiled on you and you got to the finish line in front of Eric Stout. Great job tonight. It was fun watching you throughout the night.
Thank you. It was fun.
All right, we'll send it back to Soup, who's caught up with our third place finisher. It's Teapot.
Eric Stout, he led his way for quite a few laps out there, 51 before he had to finish for third. Eric, let's go ahead to go to the one that got you spinning first off. I got to think that maybe there's like a certain amount of distance that your spotter can see.
When it happened actually early, like as we were going, the racing is tight, it's intense. Everyone's speed is basically the same. And it's really hard to defend because you can get these huge runs. And as we're going, I'm kind of thinking like in the back of my mind, like all those incidents we had last year or last season, racing for the lead, where there's maybe not someone necessarily getting turned, but contact and it leads to a spin or whatever. And that's like rolling through my head, like literally having this conversation with you. And then of course I got spun and I was like, and I don't know what happened. Like I didn't see it. I got to go watch it. I felt like I gave him plenty of room on the bottom, but that's sort of the nature of the dog leg. And so I was in one piece. I felt bad because Lewis got junked and he had good speed. So that's disappointing for him in his first race. But ultimately no harm, no foul for me. But yeah, just like one of those, as they say, one of those racing deals.
I've never seen two cars so wide apart 1 second and then get together. It was you were in the fast lane, he was in the merging lane, and man, it was something else. Let's go to the restart. He gets you on the outside after try after try after try. Benedict finally gets you.
Yeah, we were talking about it in the staging room. I was saying that it was like Bill would get these huge runs off of turn two, and it was happening a bunch while I was leading. And then so I throw a little bit of a block. He looked like he was going to go super low the one time, and I was like, I'm not blocking that one. I'm not sending him all the way down to the wall, but I'll block him a lane. And then the restart prior to that, we got going. He got a big run, and I just I wanted to get to the white because I knew if we didn't, it's going to lead to the green-white checker, and I didn't want to see that. I just wanted to race it out. And obviously, we got the caution, and then he got the run. But super happy for Bill. We raced together on Mondays. We actually raced together for Daytona 24 this past year when we won it. We won our split. And so have chatted with him, for quite a while now. And he's just a heck of a fella. And I really enjoy racing with him, and happy to see him go to victory lane. Also happy for Fred coming back, get a second. And Ethan, another Daytona 24 teammate who I raced with on Monday nights, and he came home fourth. So, all in all, it was really everything I could have asked for. I hope that the racing was good. I know we had sort of the flurry of cautions at the end. I don't have any idea what happened, but want to keep it as clean as we can. But week one, take a podium. It's for me, Soup. The wins are fantastic, but it's really death by paper cuts. I want to top five these guys to death to try to defend my strap.
Well, we got a couple new names, Flowers and Benedict. We'll a couple guys to give you a little more of a hassle. It was fun to watch a race. The boys put on a good show. You guys up front put on a good show. Thanks a lot, man. We'll see you down the road.
Glad you enjoyed it, Soup. See you next week.
Eric Stout, two-time champion, defending champion, reigning champion, but not the champion at Phoenix, as that belongs to Bill Benedict. With that said, we're going to bring up the graphic when we're going to do this again. Well, first of all, scroll all the way down to the bottom. You see down there? That's when we'll be back. We're going to go to Nashville Fairgrounds. Nope, that's Saturday night. Where the heck is Thursday as I scroll through? Well, you guys can read. There we are. We're going to Oxford Plains Speedway. I see. I'm learning the new graphic. I've been told that the viewers are literate, and I don't have to read each of these. So find the race you want to watch and catch us there. With that said, those broadcasts, past broadcasts, future broadcasts, all the projections of Virtual Grip Network. Look at all the pretty pictures of the people at VGN that make this thing work. On behalf of all of them, I'd like to wish everybody, well, a happy Memorial Day. Have a good watch of the Indy 500 if you're not seeing it in person. And until next time, have fun storming the castle.
Yeah.